Hello, YouTube fam. How y'all doing? It's your Uncle Tim. This is Uncle Tim Rants and Reviews, a channel where I rant and I review. I'm your host, Uncle Tim. Fam, sometimes you just get tired of all of this shit. It's like you go to these restaurants, man, and you don't want to cook. And, you like, this is fast food. You get there, ain't shit fast about it. McDonald's, it take them like 2 years to make your food. Then they have you go park in a parking spot. Then they trying to give you food to the wrong damn person. They cutting portion size. You go to Subway, then all of a sudden, you thinking, well, I'm going to win here. You come to find out that the bread is made of sawdust, made of yoga mat material. You got, what, the vegetables, man, all of a sudden, they wilted. The meat is dipped in salt. You sitting here thinking, then on top of that, they raised the prices of Subway. And I get what people going to say. Man, that $5 thing wasn't feasible. We didn't start that shit. They did. Now you look at Little Caesars. Little Caesars started $5 pizzas, right? I remember back in the early 2000s, they had the $5 pizzas. And, they were saying, oh, that's not feasible. We're really not making money off of it. We didn't start that shit. Y'all did. But the reason why I'm doing this video here, man, and I'm going to say this. Now, I thought Chipotle was a step up. Now, we done had a lot of mishaps. I had them where they charged my credit card twice. Certain places, I don't get my debit card because, again, dude, if I know you done fucked up before, we ain't doing this. But they had charged us twice for the same damn food. And they were like, wait, hold on. Did you buy 2 orders? I'm like, nobody bought 2 orders. For some reason, y'all machine went down in the middle of the damn transaction. Then all of a sudden, you charged another transaction. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, damn. Oh, well, I don't know if that's really our fault. Bro, I'm going to tell you something. Chipotle been all over the news, bro. People are fed up with their asses. You already paying an arm and a leg for Chipotle, dude. Now they cutting the portion sizes, bro. And I'm sitting here thinking, you cutting the portion size, what the hell am I getting? I'm like, you another person I got to knock off the damn list, bro. I got a whole list of restaurants that I haven't went to in a very long ass time. McDonald's is one of them. I haven't been there in like a couple of weeks, bro. I have went there before, and after that last fiasco, I just said, shit. Then the Subway thing, I haven't been with them in a long time. But Chipotle, that's part of our rotation. And see, the food sometimes is a hit or a miss, man. Sometimes you taste this food. Last night, you could count the pieces of meat that was actually in the burrito bowl. And you sitting there thinking, like, damn, I had steak, ordered extra steak. And I'm looking at the amount of pieces with the extra steak. I'm like, hell, I can still count this. And some of them were stuck together. And some of it was fat. You can't chew fat. It's like, it's like a rubber or something. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, come on. What happened to all of these restaurants, man? What happened to, us actually, winning? Getting out here, actually getting something that we actually want and being happy about it, man. We're spending arms and legs to go to the damn restaurant, man. Considering a burrito bowl is like, what, $10, I think? Shit, if not more. And you sitting here, you got to pay for this stuff, dude. By the time you leave there, you paying $30-something, if not more. And you thinking, I should have something for that. I should either be full or happily full. Dude, I looked at this shit and I was like, man, I don't even know anymore. The rice, usually the rice be piled on there. You got all the, the vegetables, your beans and whatever you got in there. I don't have beans in mine, but all the rest of the stuff, lettuce, all the shit usually be piled up and you have so much. But now it's like, man, it's like they counting the pieces of lettuce. They counting the meat they put in. They counting the rice. Like, shit, pretty soon you'll have a piece of a grain of rice, a tomato, a cut up piece of tomato, a shred of lettuce, and a piece of meat, probably with fat on it. Bro, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I said, man, see, this is the shit I'm talking about. When you hungry and you get some shit that's half-assed. You know what? Now it's time to find a place to replace Chipotle with. You know, this is the shit that happens, man. You know, you look at the workers, they look frustrated and stuff. You know, I remember the times when I was looking at TikTok and people were shaming them, filming everybody, making it for you can give them more food. And you know, and the execs were saying, that's wrong doing that to them because it really, really, makes people nervous. And, bruh, if I'm paying all this money for this food and I'm not getting any and I'm still hungry, what are we doing? I'm like, shit. It's like, going to one of these restaurants, man, and, you spend an arm and a leg. My wife told me, she said, oh, I want to try this restaurant. I think it's $500 a plate. She heard some people go to it. And, man, I said, this might be some type of bonus type of time for this one. But I was looking at the menu, man, and we were looking at the food. I'm like, where's the food at? She said, that is the food. And I'm sitting here like, no, not for that price. I said, hell, leaving there. We have to go somewhere to get something to eat afterwards. I said, shit, you'd still be hungry. I don't want to mess with anything, man, where, I'm not getting my money's worth. Oh, you going for the experience? No, shit, $1,000. That's it. Then think about the tip. Dude, you going somewhere, you want to enjoy yourself. I don't want to put it on Instagram or Facebook. This is where I'm at. Dude. And I'm not saying anything negative towards it. I'm just like, damn, it should have been more food. That's what I'm saying. I look at a lot of these restaurants, man, they failing us. And we falling for the okie doke. We so busy trying to keep up with everybody that we willing to spend. A lot of times we don't even cook anymore, man. Like I told you before, restaurant food, man, was a blessing. Like a treat, a rare ass treat, because your mom and dad wasn't spending no money on some bullshit like that. If you got it, boy, you was so happy. You was like, man, a happy meal. A happy meal. You're like, man, you telling people at school, I had a happy meal. Like, why you sound like that? I had a happy meal. You're like, damn, like, what it tastes like? Like, dude, you think I'm playing. I didn't live anywhere poor or anything, but shit, your parents cooked. Shit, they will make hamburgers at home, bro. I remember people talk about hamburger buns. Motherfucker, 2 pieces of white bread. That's what you had your burger on. And the ingredients and stuff, man, come on. Bro, just sitting back looking at these places, man, and just realizing, they had these chips at Chipotle, dude, tell me why half the bag ain't even full anymore. I'm like, damn, like, come on, bro. Then the little sauce that you order to go with it, it ain't full no more. I'm like, damn, like, bro, man, come on. Man, I'm shaking my damn head just trying to figure out what are we doing here, man. I think everybody just messing up, man. Like, oh, man, it's the economy, the tariffs and everything. I understand fruits and vegetables do come from other countries, bro. I understand a lot of this stuff, done went up in prices, man. But damn, if you keep cutting back on the food, I'm going to look at it like it ain't worth getting. Dude, think about it. If you went to the store to get a hamburger and the hamburger was a regular hamburger size, you're like, okay, that's a good burger, blah, blah, blah. Now you get the burger now, it's half the burger. Like they cut the burger in half. You're like, wait, hold on. I'm still paying a full price for this. This is the way I feel when I go into places like Chipotle now. You're like, what am I getting for my money? I'm like, once before y'all done ripped me off, then all of a sudden now I'm feeling like somebody, once I walk in, somebody snatched my wallet out of my pocket. That's the way it feel. It's like you being robbed, and half of the time you waiting in a long ass line, and I'm like, it's full of people, of young people, most of the time, and they be in there talking, and I said, man, I remember this shit used to be affordable. I remember going out with your friends, sitting down at like places like McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's, even Chipotle, used to be like affordable event, even as a grown ass man sitting down, hanging out. Dude, food costs too much. It's too beyond, bro. And, going out, And you ask me why do I be looking for deals on everything, man? Because it makes sense. Sometimes you gotta look at deals, bro. Otherwise, this whole situation don't make sense no more. But to later, fam, thank you for watching. Peace out.